that ever since we gotten the smart home system, I've been getting a lot of ads for things that we've been talking about. So, I
Yeah.
mean, before, maybe like 2 or 3 years ago, everybody had a suspicion that your phones and everything, your devices were listening to you. But now they don't even try and hide it anymore. Like, I'll talk about something. I'll talk about like something I need for the podcast, or I'll talk about like a game, or I'll say Restream, which is the software that I use to be able to stream from YouTube to Twitch.
Right.
And next thing I know, I'm getting an ad for that, and I wasn't even anywhere near my phone. Like, it's not even, they're not even trying to hide it anymore. Like, before they were, but now it's all trying to go geared towards consumer and development. And it's like, all right, well, cool. Glad you guys are listening to me and taking all my information.
I agree.
Yeah, it's awesome. So, I mean, there's another reason why I didn't like the smartphone, because our smart home, because obviously, it doesn't feel like you don't have any privacy.
Right.
Like,
right.
there's that issue involved, because obviously, I mean, the devices are collecting data on what we say, on our habits,
What we do, or like, yep, I agree.
which is kind of terrifying. I mean, what's your opinion on that? Do you think it's worth the ease of access?
I mean, it is very easier of access. Like, when I'm upstairs and the downstairs lights are still on, instead of walking downstairs, just flipping a switch on your phone makes my life easier. Now, I don't really do too much on the command side of saying like, hey Google or Alexa or hey Siri, whatever it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
I like to do everything on my phone, because like you mentioned right earlier, that whatever command or habits that I say to the HomePod or to Alexa's little, that little device,
Right.
they'll capture all that information and kind of understand that. I'm just not a big fan of that part. That's why I'm very, when it comes to those things, I just do everything by my phone, or like through my phone,
Mm-hmm.
or just manually turn on the lights or manually do whatever.
Yeah, but even if you don't like do it through the device or anything like that, I mean, even if you don't use the command, it's still listening. I mean, it always has to be listening, because it has to listen out for that command.
Right.
So, I mean, in my opinion, I don't know if it's worth the privacy risk, because at a certain point, I feel like you're giving up that freedom, that independent aspect of who you are and what you do, that exclusivity, versus this ease of access. And I mean, Google and Facebook are notorious for taking your information.
Well, first, I mean, now I don't have Facebook anymore. I used to have Facebook, so I deactivated that for sure.
Did you really? Why'd you do that?
Yeah. I want to get out of social media, dude, honestly. Like, I took out Snapchat, I took out Facebook. I still have Instagram, but Instagram is only for like my food and for the shoes only. I don't really do anything else with it. But mostly all the social media platforms I have completely stopped just having total access to it, because a lot of, just a lot of stuff with social media that you see on a day-to-day basis.
Right.
And I feel like people, not like me, but people will kind of like compare themselves, to the other person through Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, saying like, oh, why does he or she have this? And I just feel like that type of negativity in my life, I'm not a big fan of.
Do you think it's responsible for a lot of the distancing that we're having? Like, hold on, my mom says, what happens if you are having a private connection with a bank, sharing your bank information, including social security, and you have someone listening? That's true. I don't know the ease of access that a lot of hackers or anybody has to these systems, and whether or not they can jump in between the connection between the device and what you're saying, or even if they can listen in on some of these conversations just to get like any of that. But back to the social media question. Do you think social media has been responsible for the decline of social interactions? Do you think it's more geared towards online interactions now?
it's a lot more online interactions compared to um, person to person. Um, because of course nowadays, just having that stranger come up to you, or it's not like it used to be back in the day when I was born, of course. Um, because you see a lot of things in the news, like people getting kidnapped, people getting hurt, killed, or whatever it is,
Right.
depending on what the situation is, right? But um, I can see when I saw Facebook, it was mostly like MySpace. It was just a different
Yeah, I
alternative
remember
platform
MySpace.
to use for MySpace, right? Just to you know
MySpace was
keep.
better in my opinion.
I liked MySpace.
I
I really loved it.
honestly sidetrack. MySpace was a lot better. You could customize your page. You could even have music on.
Exactly. You can put
Remember that?
music when you go into your friend's page. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that was cool. You could have like a custom background that would
Mhm.
like have whatever pictures you wanted. MySpace was way better than Facebook. I honestly I don't know the actual reasons for why Facebook took over, but I guess maybe it was just easier to use.
Are they still on, or is that still
Is MySpace still
MySpace still
around?
around?
I don't know, but if we have someone in the chat that wants to look this up, let me know. When was the last time you saw the news reporter murder? They show the show. Is it the show or they show you what they want you to see? Yeah, I mean, I guess it's going back to your point earlier.
Oh, like again, I haven't seen anything before, but back in the day though, when I was on Facebook, like you would just see these random news saying like, depending where you live, right? I'm not saying it's worldwide news saying this person got killed,
Hmm.
but
It's all
you know,
Corona now. You're absolutely
yeah,
right.
basically,
Absolutely
it is all
right.
Corona.
Well, it's all Corona and politics.
Yes,
Facebook has kind of become a breeding ground for people's educated and undereducated opinions, and there's no differentiation, there we go, between the two ideas. There's no separation between the good ideas and the bad ideas, and so when you just read something, you take it all for the same face value based off whether or not the person can actually communicate in written text. So that's where I think Facebook has done more harm than good in some areas,
yeah,
is
I agree.
because um, there is a lot of information out there, and I wouldn't call everything fake. I would just say we just don't have, in the age of social media right now, in the age of where everybody's opinion matters and everybody's opinion counts and everybody can say whatever they want on a social media platform. I
Right.
don't think we have the intellectual capacity, or some people have the intellectual capacity to discern between what's actually information versus what is um fear mongering, or what is just complete biases. That's a big word. Got to Google that. Yeah. Yes, you do. Um, but yeah, I think in some means, I think social media has done way more harm than good. But I wouldn't say it's totally bad, because obviously
Right.
with like the Australian wildfires, there were
Mhm.
people organizing on Facebook to help out with those, that crisis. There's people
Correct.
organizing right now to help out with coronavirus.
Correct.
So I mean, it's kind of like, it's ironic in it that people post their ideal selves while revealing who they really are on social media.
So it has its pros and cons, right?
For sure.
Uh, there's people who want to use that platform as a helping service or using it for something that's good for the community, right?
Right.
I totally get that. But of course, there are some people who just scam, who spam you or just troll you for no reason, right? They'll just
Right.
do stupid stuff like that. But I mean, I know everybody who whoever does that, I just feel like it's just dumb to me. I just feel like that's just a waste of their time to the other person. Um, but that's my opinion with social media in general. Like I don't really do it as much.
Yeah, you're right. Social media has made it easier for trolls.
Yeah.
It really has, and it's created this barrier to where you don't have to face physical consequences for saying stupid shit.
Yeah. Yeah. They it's like trolling or maybe like cyberbullying, for example. That's something where people, honestly shouldn't do because
Right.
it's there's no difference of actually bullying a person in person where
Well,
you're behind.
physical harm and mental harm, I think, while are two different words, can have the same effect on somebody.
Correct. I
So,
agree with that. Yeah,
it's definitely a challenge navigating the social media aspect.
it is. That's why, like, for me with social media, like, that's why I don't really talk too much about that because I have my opinions and I know other people have their own opinions, but
They have their
I
reservations about it, and
right, and I feel like it can be like a biased opinion.